Ramsey County unveiled its new economic competitiveness and inclusion plan.
Oh.
Believed to be the first in Minnesota. The plan will shape county investments over the next 4 years through the lens of racial equity, and it will require a hefty property tax hike to get it done.
Oh, I'm sure going to sign up for that, Such, huh?
So your days of paying super low taxes in St. Paul are about over.
Systemic problems require systemic solutions, said Ramsey County Commissioner Nicole Joy Fretham. I just want to express my excitement for this and acknowledge that this plan is probably going to make folks uncomfortable. Oh, I don't think so.
Why? Why would that happen?
Why would that make me uncomfortable?
Wow. So they're actually admitting that this is going to hurt.
Yep.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, I just can't get my way all the way through this. But the key strategies include giving minority businesses more support in order to see 500 more minority enterprises created. Okay. Using the HRA levy to create 15,000 affordable housing units throughout the county. That'd take a lot of money to create that.
I don't know about that one, but go ahead.
Giving priority to projects that increase housing supply for households at 30% of area median income. Establishing policies for all multifamily housing projects receiving county funding, such as requiring landlords to accept housing choice vouchers, agree to house persons with high-risk backgrounds, and permit excessive rent prohibit excessive rent or fee increases. Well, why would anyone want to be a property owner?
No, you don't.
Yeah, they're discouraging it, the notion altogether.
You don't. Yeah.
Getting utility partners to give credits to low-income housing owners, tenants for using climate-friendly programs. Using HRA funding to incentivize actions that encourage multifamily zoning, okay? Growing the portfolio of small-scale housing development to increase the number of minority developers and identify financial support for those new and existing. I can't go on.
Can you go back to the
It's all
climate
giveaway program.
Go back to the climate thing you mentioned about 5 items ago. Something about giving government something credits to.
Getting utility partners to give credits to low-income housing owners / tenants for using climate-friendly programs.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out what they mean by that. Do they mean tenants are going to be buying into green? I don't know, green whatever.
It's like the rest of this. It's essentially meaningless.
I can't figure it out. What is that?
Well, let me cut to the chase. Is our friend Kendall Qualls, who wrote this for the Pioneer Press, Deanna Weniger. Well, congratulations, Deanna. She had the good sense to try to get another side of this, and she contacted our friend Kendall Qualls.
Good. What did Kendall have to say?
Who said their data's flawed. He's in charge of Take Charge, an organization that supports Black Americans. He said the inequities are less about race and more about culture and failed government policies.
Yeah.
Stop comparing apples to oranges. We have a two-parent privilege issue in our country and state, not a white privilege issue, he said. They are comparing black versus other ethnic groups when 85% of black families are fatherless homes on public assistance. No other ethnic has this dynamic. Black Americans didn't used to live like this. They had a family structure. It wasn't until we were government help, the federal government financially incentivizing women to have children out of wedlock and paying them to remain unmarried, that we saw a spike in fatherless homes. He added that increasing taxes on current residents in order to bring a wave of subsidized rental units into neighborhoods could cause more people to move out of the county and fill apartments with fatherless families.
Boy,
This
he
guy-
just dropped a truth bomb.
He's a-
Holy cow.
He's a pushbacker. He's a pushbacker.
See,
Mickey
what I was
Murray.
thinking, wait a second. What I was thinking with the incentive programs as far as energy and green stuff goes, no poor people, they're not going to buy into your Green New Deal garbage because they're still trying to put food on their family.
That's
They're
right.
trying to scrape 2 nickels together. They'll buy a bleeping can of soup for the family. They're not going to buy into your green
Hey,
nonsense.
Joe, really quick before you move on. You just read a stat that blew my mind that Kendall had in this piece. Did he say 85%?
Our fatherless homes on public assistance.
85. My God. I didn't realize it was that high.
Mickey Murray, former chair of the Republican Party in Minnesota's 4th Congressional District, which covers nearly all of Ramsey County and part of Washington County, said this plan does not address 3 things: helping those who've dropped out of high school, putting pressure on developers, and incentivizing people to be self-sufficient. Part of the challenge is to incentivize people. God, that word is driving me crazy. It's almost like uptick. Part of the challenge is to incentivize people to carry themselves so that the ongoing investment in public dollars is not necessarily for someone to sustain what they've got. It's wonderful to help people get over the hump of an emergency, but if I need an infusion of cash on a regular basis to maintain my housing, that's not necessarily incentivizing people to improve. Their housing may be stable, but at some point there is a diminishing return on that investment. Of course there is. There is nothing in this except collectivism. There is nothing in this, again, except pandering white euphorians and Mysterians believing that unless we take care of you, you black people, you are incapable of it. Unless we come forward and do it for you, we make you less than. We are pandering, disingenuous fools. And you keep lapping up what we sell you. We'll just go tax some more white people, and then we'll give that money to you because you can't do it without us. It's all BS. It's just, it has been from day one. It's B as in B, S as in S. They're going to take my money and give it to a black family and say, here, we got some of Sushi's money. That'll help pay your rent because we don't expect you to do anything about it. We sure as hell don't expect you to do anything about it. We're here to help you.
Well, you just took Such's money for this month's rent. What about next month's rent? The
That'll
neighbor?
have to be Kenny Olson's money.
Well, what happens when you run out of people to take money from? Then
That's
what?
the old saying about socialism. It lasts as long as it does until you run out of other people's money.
Oh, that's a great phrase.
Well,
oh,
then,
boy.
then we would just have another stimulus program, right, Joe?
Again, you're right, Chris, though, but again, where's that come from?
Wow.
Speaking of which,
I looked up this woman who was quoted, Ramsey County Commissioner Nicole Joy Fretham. She's married. She's got a family. She's got 3 kids. She's in law school. She represents North Oaks, Vadnais Heights, Shoreview. I thought she had a fighting chance to be normal, but she's not normal. She's a Mysterian. She wants other people's money so that she can create a situation in which she thinks she's remedying something. She's not remedying anything. She's just sustaining the status quo. We're here to tell you you can't get anywhere without my kind of thinking. Black people, the only people that can push back are black people because no one's going to listen to me.
well, the problem is they are pushing back and they're being ignored. Nobody cares about what Kendall has to say.
Except for us.
We do.
Right.
Right. Here, listen to this to answer your question, Chris. And this was buried in the back of the paper. Biden moves on to 3T in stimulus cash. The Biden administration is considering as much as $3 trillion worth of measures to include in the long-term economic program that will follow the $1.9 trillion pandemic relief bill signed earlier this month. It just keeps going. Mm-hmm. Including $400 billion for so-called green spending. Yep.
It's a shame. That word keeps coming up of what's happening to us in this once wonderful country. It's a shame.
What?
It's a shame. We're just losing our righteous sense of indignation. It's tough to push back when the country's so horribly divided. Just horribly divided. And no one was more right than Kendall Qualls. No one is more right. We were doing fine until you decided to help us, is what he's saying.
Because the way he made it sound is there was a point where and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but the black family strove for greatness. And what he's saying
Read the whole quote again. Read it all again. You're so right, Chris. You're so right.
Some say the county is still missing key steps to help minority communities, specifically the black community, find economic equity. Their data is flawed, said Kendall Qualls, head of Take Charge, an organization that supports black Americans. He says the inequities are less about race and more about culture and failed government policies. Stop comparing apples to oranges. We have a two-parent privilege issue in our county and state, not a white privilege issue, he said. They are comparing black versus other ethnic groups when 85% of black families are fatherless homes on public assistance. No other ethnic has this dynamic. Black Americans didn't used to live with this family structure. It wasn't until we were government help, the federal government financially incentivizing women to have children out of wedlock and paying them to remain unmarried, that we saw a spike in fatherless homes.
Mic drop.
wow.
Mm-hmm. We've been saying that for years in GL. Black parents, quit telling the schools, for example, to do your kid a favor. All they're doing is diminishing your child under this guise of white guilt or white privilege or whatever this white BS they keep dreaming up. Kendall Qualls is a black guy. He's not blaming white people for any of this. We don't have white privilege. We have two-parent privilege, he said. Yeah.
You know, and we still have him. Prime example, our guy Marcus Hunter II. He's up there on the north side, ducking the bullets every day. He's got a bright future in front of him if he lives that long.
Yeah, but he too needs to tweak his thinking.
Well, what do you expect from a guy that lives in the ghetto
I know.
with dead ghosts of his family and friends all around him, including his dad? You know, and he's a bright, well-educated kid, and he's having a hard time seeing his own future.
Well, I've told him what his future could be. He's a writer. He's a pretty damn good writer.